Liam, please. Julian has severe post-traumatic stress disorder. I only promise to go through with a fake wedding to stop him from hurting himself. Once he's stable, I'll marry you. My fiancée, Elena Vance, was on her knees, tears streaming down her face, begging me. Beside her, Julian Thorne tried to pull her up, but Elena refused to budge, her eyes fixed on me. Elena, sis, don't do this. It's my fault. It's my fault I'm sick and making things hard for you and Liam. I'll just go die. I won't be a burden to you anymore. Julian let go of her and made a show of running toward the balcony. Wait, I called out, stopping them in their tracks. You said he has. What kind of disorder? PTSD. It's severe, Elena sobbed. Leave him to me. I know how to treat this. But Elena, I need you to step out for a moment. 2 hours later, Elena pushed the door open. She froze when she saw my shirt splattered with blood. She rushed over, frantically checking my body, and sighed in relief when she found no wounds on me. Liam, what happened? How is Julian? I patted her hand where it clutched my arm and whispered soothingly, don't worry. His psychological block? I cured it. Root and branch. That's amazing. You're incredible, Liam. I didn't know a finance guy could treat mental illness. She stood on her tiptoes and kissed my cheek. Don't celebrate just yet. The illness is gone, but there are some side effects. Side effects? That's fine, we can manage those. The important thing is the mental break is healed. It's nothing major, just some fractures in the hands and feet, a mild concussion, a few missing teeth, and maybe a tiny bit of facial disfigurement. Before I could finish, Julian crawled out of the bedroom, covered in blood. Elena, save me. Julian, oh my God, what happened to him? Elena's eyes turned red with horror as she screamed at me. Don't look at me like that. I spread my hands, shrugging innocently. Who knew he was so stubborn? I had to beat him that hard before he finally admitted he wasn't sick. I wasn't originally from this world. By a twist of fate, I was dropped into the middle of a trashy melodrama novel titled The Fiancée's Depressed Childhood Friend. Unlike the usual soap opera plots, the male and female leads actually had a great relationship. The male lead doted on her. She loved him to death. But there was one obstacle, the childhood friend. Julian was 5 years younger than Elena. He had trailed her like a puppy since they were kids. When I, the male lead, first brought Elena home to meet the parents, Julian was just a minor. Yet he looked at me with pure venom. After college, he refused a cushy job arranged by his wealthy parents to work as an assistant under Elena. At first, Elena didn't indulge him completely. But once on my birthday, we both took off work and prepped for a huge celebration. It was ruined because Julian slashed his wrists. From that day on, Elena accommodated his every whim. Julian produced some obviously fake medical records claiming severe depression, and Elena swallowed it whole. Anytime, anywhere, one call from Julian and she would drop everything. Especially on special days, birthdays, anniversaries, Valentine's Day, Julian guaranteed a crisis. He possessed every skill in the toxic manipulator's handbook: gaslighting, framing, and playing the victim. Because of his interference, the original couple's feelings eroded until they split. Let's rewind to when I first arrived in this world. We were still in college, just starting to date. The first time I went to Elena's house, I met Julian. He was about 13 or 14. The moment I walked in, he stared at me like I'd murdered his father. Following the original plot, I should have thought, he's just her neighbor's kid. I should be nice to him. But I knew exactly what he was, a little monster. So, right in front of him, I naturally reached out and pulled Elena into my arms, planting kisses on her smooth, pale cheek. Julian's eyes practically caught fire. His fists clenched, teeth biting his lip. The angrier he got, the better I felt. I cupped Elena's face and, ignoring her surprised look, gave her a deep, passionate French kiss. Elena flushed crimson, her body stiffening before melting into me. She hit my chest lightly. Liam, stop. Julian is right there. I released her, raised an eyebrow at the kid's twisted face, and gave him a wicked, challenging smirk. Wah! Julian finally snapped, crying as he turned and ran, slamming the door so hard the walls shook. Watching a breakdown brought me immense joy. Little manipulator, you think this is it? The show is just starting. You're too green to play with me. Despite my efforts to block him, the plot's inertia was strong. Julian graduated and insisted on working for Elena. I've always been closest to Elena. I want to learn from her and lighten her load, he announced. Elena was touched. She came to me, seeking approval. Liam, Julian just graduated. He has no experience. If he works for me, I can keep an eye on him so he doesn't get eaten alive out there. What do you think? What did I think? Could I say, the kid is a snake here to ruin us? I'd said it a dozen times. It never worked. She just called me petty, so I gave a tight smile. Sure, you're the boss. I understood the narrative logic. If he wasn't around, there was no story. If I couldn't separate them, I'd just have to make his life hell. Julian officially entered Elena's orbit and began his reign of terror. Lunch deliveries, broken computers needing hands-on help, late-night depression calls. He was everywhere. Until my birthday, I had prepared a romantic candlelight dinner, taking half the day off to set the mood. Elena swore she'd cleared her schedule. The music was playing, the candles flickered, the roses smelled sweet. I looked at her gorgeous face in the dim light, thinking about how we'd celebrate after dinner. Then her phone rang. Julian's weak, affected voice drifted from the speaker. Elena, I don't feel good. Can you come sit with me? It's Liam's birthday. I have to be with him. Go to the hospital yourself. Elena refused without thinking. She wouldn't ditch me for a neighbor. Not today. Julian hung up without a word. Elena thought he was just throwing a tantrum. But 20 minutes later, the phone rang again. Julian. She frowned, annoyed. I told you, it's Liam's birthday. Can you grow up? Tomorrow. Hello? Is this Elena Vance? The owner of this phone just slit his wrists. We're at the ER. He's refusing treatment until you get here. It was a nurse. Julian had cut himself and called 911. What? He slit his wrists. Panic replaced Elena's annoyance. She didn't even explain things clearly to me before grabbing her purse and sprinting out. I heard her tires screeching on the asphalt outside. The room went silent. I looked at the cold food and the 2 wine glasses reflecting the dying candlelight. I downed my drink in one gulp, my eyes turning cold. Motherfucker, if you make me unhappy, you're going to pay. In the original book, this wrist-slashing incident was the turning point. It shackled Elena with the moral burden of Julian is mentally fragile and needs my constant protection. From then on, she had no boundaries with him. Sure enough, the next day I got a text. Liam, Julian is awake. He lost a lot of blood and is very weak. The doctor says he has suicidal tendencies and can't be left alone. I have to stay at the hospital for a few days. I am sorry. I'll make it up to you. A few days? I knew the drill. It was a full week. 7 days of radio silence, barring that one text. When I called, she'd whisper, doctor's here, or he's agitated, and hang up. A week later, Elena finally called, her voice thick with fatigue and guilt. Liam, my parents want to take us to dinner tonight. At the Marriott. To make up for your birthday. I agreed. I knew tonight was the main event. My revenge started here. I arrived at the private room on time. Elena's parents, the Vances, were warm, apologizing profusely. On the other side sat a haggard Elena and a pale Julian, his wrist wrapped in thick gauze. He looked like a stiff breeze would knock him over. When Elena saw me, her eyes lit up and she moved to sit next to me, but Julian grabbed her. He shook her arm with his injured hand, his voice weak and sickly sweet. Elena, my wrist is so weak I can't hold chopsticks. Sit next to me and peel my shrimp, okay? Elena looked at me helplessly. I kept a poker face. She sighed and sat back down. Okay, but don't move around. Watch your stitches. During dinner, Mr. and Mrs. Vance tried to lighten the mood, steering the conversation toward marriage. Liam, Elena, you aren't getting any younger. You've been engaged a year. Shouldn't we set a date? Mrs. Vance smiled. Mr. Vance nodded. Exactly. We're waiting for grandkids. Settle down so we can relax. Before we could speak, Julian cut in, his tone dripping with acid. Uncle, Annie, everyone focuses on careers first these days. Liam and Elena are just building their portfolios. Why the rush? If the love is real, does the date matter? Mrs. Vance glared at him and dropped a sea cucumber into his bowl. Kid, what do you know? Family first, then career. Eat your food and stop talking. She turned back to us. Well, if you have no objections, we'll pick a date. Mom, Dad, I have no objections. You decide. Elena took a deep breath, ready to commit. Crash. The porcelain bowl in Julian's hand shattered against the table. A shard flew up, precisely slicing open his healing wound. Fresh blood seeped through the gauze. Elena screamed. Reflexively, she grabbed napkins to staunch the flow, yelling for a first aid kit. Julian turned his head away, petulant. You're about to be someone else's wife. Why do you care if I die? Just let me die. Nobody cares anyway. Elena bandaged him with practiced hands, cooing, Okay, we won't talk about it. We won't talk about the wedding right now. Your health comes first. We'll discuss it later. The Vances faces fell, their excitement dying instantly. They put down their chopsticks in silence. The atmosphere was ruined. Silence filled the room, broken only by Julian's soft whimpers. Then my stomach rumbled loudly. The plot gods are calling. Time for the bathroom break, the stage for Julian's next victimization attempt. Excuse me, I said calmly. I need the restroom. As expected, Footsteps follow me down the hall. Julian, like a cold shadow. At the secluded stairwell near the restrooms, he called out. His voice was suddenly clear, laced with arrogance. Liam. I stopped, subtly pulling out my phone and starting the video recording. What? I asked without turning. No threats, no villain monologue. Just a theatrical scream, followed by the heavy thud-thud-thud of a body hitting stairs. I was watching it. The kid was committed. He threw himself down without hesitation. The noise drew everyone out. What happened? Elena rushed to the front. Julian lay at the bottom of the stairs, clutching a bleeding forehead, pointing a trembling finger at me. It was him. Liam pushed me. He said if I don't let Elena marry him, he'll kill me. Elena, he tried to kill me. Oscar-worthy tears. Elena looked at me. There was doubt in her eyes. I didn't speak. I just shoved my phone screen into her face. The video clearly showed Julian throwing himself down the stairs. Stable footage. Irrefutable proof. Her parents saw it too. Their faces turned iron gray, looking at Julian with disgust. Julian was still wailing. Elena, it hurts. Am I dying? Elena stared at the screen, her face flushing red then white. She took a deep breath, looking exhausted. Liam, Julian is sick. He's mentally unstable. He can't control himself. We are the closest people to him. Can you please bear with him? I'm begging you. If we push him, he might do something worse. Her parents opened their mouths to object, but saw their daughter's desperate eyes and stayed silent. I looked at Elena. She knew the truth, yet she chose to drug herself with the excuse of his illness. Fiancée, you bear with him. I pocketed my phone. Mr. and Mrs. Vance, let me drive you home. The dinner ended in disaster. Another week of hospital duty later, Elena called. Liam, I booked a table. Julian, he says you scared him last time. He wants an apology in person. He just wants to see your attitude. Please, just humor him. Treat him like a child. Once he's better, this will all be over. Her tone was cautious. I agreed. Oh, I would apologize. With so much sincerity. We met at a bistro. Second floor, window seat. I sat down, offering a plastic smile. Elena went to the restroom. I scanned the area. Blind spot for cameras. Near the service stairs. Low traffic. Perfect. Julian saw the look in my eye and gulped, shrinking back. What are you doing? Elena will be back any second. I grinned, eyes dead cold. Nothing. Just apologizing. I stood up, grabbed his uninjured arm, dragged him to the stairs, and with every ounce of strength I had, Sparta kicked him in the ass. Thud, 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 crack. This fall sounded much heavier. More bone-on-wood contact. Steeper stairs. You like falling? I'll let you fall to your heart's content. Elena came running back. What happened? Again. I sighed, looking annoyed. Yeah, he's at it again. Does he ever stop? Elena looked down at Julian, curled in a ball, groaning in genuine agony this time. She shook her head, resigned, and gave me the standard line. He's young. He doesn't know better. Just ignore him. She went to help him up. Julian was sobbing for real now. Elena, he kicked me. He really kicked me this time. My leg feels broken. He wants me dead. I cut him off, sneering. Yeah, I kicked you. It was all me. Happy? Can we go to the hospital now? I owned it with zero guilt. Julian gaped at me. He'd never met anyone who outplayed him like this. He tried to argue, but Elena snapped. Enough. Liam is right. Let's just go to the ER. You're not going to do anything? My leg is broken. We'll talk later. Elena shoved him into the car. The diagnosis, hairline fracture in the left ankle, cracked rib. He needed hospitalization. Julian, however, spun this into a win. He posted photos of Elena feeding him and wiping his face on social media. Caption, sick days are the best days when you have big sis taking care of you. A peace man alive. 3-inch he tagged me. I almost vomited. This kid thought he was untouchable. Time for a hospital visit. I went to a specialty market and bought the largest, hardest, spikiest durian fruit I could find. The King's Pillow variety. I put it in a black plastic bag and went to his private room. Elena was feeding him porridge. Liam, you came. She looked relieved. I handed her the bag. The doctor said no strong-smelling fruits, she noted. I smiled. I didn't buy it for him to eat. Julian sneered at me. Heard you were hospitalized, little brother. Better? I asked sweetly. Julian looked away. Elena, I said, patting her hand. I'm thirsty. Can you grab me a water? She nodded and left. The door clicked shut. My smile vanished. I picked up the durian. Heavy, spikes sharp as needles. Julian panicked, reaching for the call button. What are you doing? Security. Nurse. Scream. The louder you scream, the more I enjoy it. I walked to the bed, raised the heavy, thorny fruit, and smashed it into his face. Smash. Aya. A pig-slaughtering scream echoed down the hall. You like cutting wrists? You like acting? Wham! Into his ribs. You like falling downstairs? You like framing people? Wham! Onto his good leg. You like posting on Instagram? Wham! 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 By the time I stopped, he was a bloody pulp. That felt good. Footsteps pounded outside. I straightened my jacket, smoothed my hair, and put on a confused face. Elena and a nurse burst in. What happened? Elena gasped, looking at Julian, who was curled up, shaking, bleeding, and crying. I spread my hands. I don't know. I asked if he wanted durian, and he suddenly grabbed it and started smashing it into his own face. I couldn't stop him. Julian pointed a shaking finger at me. Liar. He hit me. Call the police. He tried to kill me. The police came. I calmly showed them the video of the first stair incident. Officer, he has a persecution complex and delusions. He staged a fall last week. Elena produced the fake psychiatric papers Julian had given her. The cops looked at the video of him throwing himself downstairs, then at the papers saying he was unstable. They gave Julian a lecture on wasting police resources and left. After that, whenever I had a bad day at work, I visited Julian. Next time, I brought a large potted cactus. The nurses whispered, "Who brings a cactus to a patient?" I waited for Elena to leave, then beat him again. When Elena returned, she scolded me gently. Don't bring spiky plants next time. Julian screamed. There won't be a next time. Keep him away from me. I shook my head sadly and left. Because he banned me from visiting, his recovery was miraculously fast. He was discharged in 2 weeks. But he saved his grand finale for discharge day. He climbed to the hospital roof. He stood on a ledge, swaying, threatening to jump unless Elena married him. Right there. Elena, promise me. Give me a wedding. Even a fake one. I need everyone to see it. Or I jump. I'll do it. Elena stood below, face pale, tears falling. Under the gaze of 100 onlookers and the pressure of his life, she broke. She shouted up, I promise. Julian, come down. We'll get married. Right now. Julian climbed down, wearing a victorious, exhausted smirk. That night, they came to my apartment. Liam, Julian has severe PTSD. Elena cried, hugging my leg. The doctor says he's self-destructive. It's just a formality. Once he's stable, I'll marry you. I swear. Julian stood there, acting the martyr. Elena, don't beg him for me. I'm trash. I'll just go die. He made a move to run. Wait, I said calmly. They froze. You said he has. What? PTSD, Elena said. I can treat that. What? You're a finance bro, Julian stammered, panic in his eyes. Trust me, I told Elena. Go outside. She left. Julian tried to bolt. I grabbed him. Don't come near me, 2 hours later. Elena rushed in. I was covered in blood. She checked me frantically. I'm fine. Not my blood. How is he? Cured. Root and branch. Really? She kissed me. Yes, but there are side effects. Broken bones. Missing teeth. Slight disfigurement. Julian crawled out from behind the sofa, dragging a trail of blood. Face unrecognizable. Elena. Save me. Elena screamed. What did you do? He wouldn't admit he was faking until I broke him. Julian passed out. Elena collapsed, weeping. We still have to do the wedding. I promised him. I looked at her cold. He admitted he's faking, and you're still going through with it. I have to. Just this once. Wait for me, Liam. No. If you marry him, fake or not, I'm done. Choose. Him or me. She grabbed my arm. How can you be so cruel? It's a human life. I knew her choice. I went to my bedroom. She took Julian to the hospital. Again, in these stories, there's always a better woman waiting. Enter Audrey Sterling, a college classmate, now a primetime anchor on a major news network. Stunning, smart, independent. I called her immediately. It was late. Liam? Late call. What's up? Audrey, I'm single. Clean break. I want to pursue you. Interested? Silence, then a laugh. Direct as always. You know I just turned down a setup by my boss. I keep tabs. So, let's try it. High efficiency. No drama. Deal. I don't have time for games. We clicked instantly. Rational, compatible. We skipped the dating phase and went straight to a destination wedding in the Maldives. On the day of my flight, Elena and Julian were holding their wedding. In the VIP lounge, I posted a photo of me and Audrey holding our marriage certificate. Caption, through the storms, I found the one. Meet my wife, Audrey Sterling. Partners for life. I knew Elena would see it. At her wedding, Elena was miserable in her white dress. Her phone buzzed. Her best friend told her to check social media. She saw the post. My happiness. The certificate. No, impossible. Liam wouldn't leave me. She staggered. Elena? Say I do. Julian prompted from his wheelchair, his face caked in makeup to hide the bruises. Elena looked at him, this manipulative wreck, and then at my photo. The horror of her mistake crushed her. She ripped off her veil, shoved Julian aside, and ran out of the hotel. Elena, come back, Julian screamed. She drove like a maniac to the airport, sprinting to the terminal. But the screen showed my flight had already departed. No, she collapsed on the terminal floor, wailing. She finally realized her compromise had cost her everything. Her phone rang. Video call. Julian. He was on the hotel roof again. Face twisted. Elena, come back, or I jump. I mean it. In the past, she would have caved. But now, she looked at the man who ruined her life. She screamed at the screen with pure venom. Jump. You want to die? Do it. Jump. I hate you. If not for you, Liam would still be here. You should have died years ago. Julian froze. He didn't expect that. The shock, or maybe his bad leg, caused him to slip. The phone tumbled. The world spun. He fell 30 stories. Julian Thorne died on impact. Elena Vance was arrested for inciting suicide. However, due to the mental break she suffered in that moment, she was deemed unfit for trial and institutionalized. Story complete.